So you are very motivated to get the belt back.
Absolutely. I can't wait for this moment to happen again, and it's going to be a very different fight. That day was not the same Alex Pereira, so if come the regular Alex Pereira, it's already more than that. But imagine now if it's different.
Was there any consideration before you took this fight about fighting at heavyweight?
No, absolutely none. Just took some break, training hard, training heavy, gain some muscle, gain some size, but all focus for this.
Alex Pereira is focused on training for his rematch with Magomed Ankalaev, striving to be sharper and more prepared than before. He's focusing on every aspect of his game, determined to get back his title at UFC 320. Alex Pereira is increasing his wrestling focus for the rematch with Magomed Ankalaev, and according to his coach, Pereira has always trained extensively in wrestling, building on his striking skills to become a more well-rounded fighter. His training combines striking with grappling, a process that began years ago with guidance from Glover Teixeira, helping him develop takedowns and overall control. Pereira's camp continues to emphasize wrestling while maintaining his striking abilities.
Are you upping the wrestling training? Are you doing more wrestling training in this training camp?
If he's training the same as always training, a lot of wrestling in our training. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. That's what built him to be who he is in the UFC, with Glover's style of wrestling, the way that he trained. Even guys go, oh, he keep his hands down, look at his head. Okay, but go and try to hit his head on the fight, see if it's hard, see if he can. You know what I mean? So he just showed things that he wants to show. He's always focused on the wrestling for the MMA training, not only the striking. It's been almost 4 years that he's around here now training wrestling like that, you know what I mean? But that's since day one. He was already an outstanding striker. So Glover helped to put all the grappling together, to put the takedown defense, to put everything, right? So he's constantly trying to evolve.
Alex Pereira says he is highly motivated to reclaim the belt from Magomed Ankalaev, and he acknowledges that their first fight had a disputed result, with some believing Ankalaev won and others siding with him. Pereira suggests a draw would have been fair, keeping him as champion. He explains that the fighter who competed that night wasn't the real Alex Pereira and promises a different performance in the rematch. He adds that a knockout isn't necessary this time, as his complete skill set is enough to control Ankalaev in any aspect of the fight.
Back to Magomed. When you see the footage of him going home with the belt that was yours, and all the hoopla and stuff, how does that make you feel?
People say that he won, people say that he lost, people say that I win, like very contested, right? Why you don't give it a draw and a left to the belt?
So you are very motivated to get the belt back.
Absolutely. I can't wait for this moment to happen again, and it's going to be a very different fight. That day was not the same Alex Pereira, so if come the regular Alex Pereira, it's already more than that. But imagine now if it's different. It doesn't have to be a knockout, but I feel that I have enough game to do whatever I want with this guy.
On the other hand, Magomed Ankalaev has already started his fight camp for Alex Pereira ahead of UFC 320, focusing on refining his skills for the high-stakes rematch. He approaches camp with confidence, determined to make improvements from their first encounter and prove he's the better fighter when they meet again. Magomed Ankalaev warns that his rematch with Alex Pereira will be easier than their first fight. He points out that statistics show rematches are always risky, and he believes Pereira will learn that again. When asked about avoiding takedowns, since he outstruck Pereira in their first encounter, Ankalaev says he will do whatever is needed to dominate, whether through wrestling or striking, and doesn't anticipate any weaknesses.
Ну, я думаю, реванш пройдет намного легче, чем первый бой, так как статистика говорит всегда, реванши со мной выходить это очень опасно. Я думаю, мы подтвердим то же самое, что со мной не стоит выходить на реванш.
Может быть, в этот раз вообще не стоит пытаться перевести Алекса, потому что ты, в принципе, перебивал его стойки.
Все может быть. Я буду делать все, чтобы доминировать. Если бороться, надо будет бороться, биться стойко. Я думаю, у нас не будет проблем нигде.
Magomed Ankalaev insists he wants Alex Pereira to be fully fit for their rematch, leaving no room for excuses afterward. He notes that after their first fight, some claimed Pereira wasn't fully prepared, and he refuses to hear that again. Ankalaev mentions seeing training clips where Pereira is repeatedly taken down and gets back up, showing he's preparing for that scenario. He admits that he might avoid takedowns since Pereira expects them, but stresses it doesn't matter. His goal is to face the best version of Pereira and make the result undeniable.
Видел отрывки тренировок Алекса Перейра, где его там борют, он встает постоянно, то есть очевидно он готовится к тому, что будет вставать постоянно.
Да, вполне возможно, что я не буду его переводить. Может, он это делает себя. Ну, пускай делает, готовится. Я, наоборот, хочу, чтобы он подходил к этому бою на 100% готов, чтобы у него не оставались вопросы по поводу поединка, чтобы не было таких разговоров, как в прошлом бою, что не был готов или что-то было не сделано. Я хочу, чтобы он подошел в хорошей форме и после нашего поединка, чтобы у него не было оправданий.
Meanwhile, Alex Pereira also discusses moving up to heavyweight, revealing that he currently weighs around 230 to 235 pounds, despite competing at light heavyweight. He says there was no prior consideration about fighting at heavyweight, he simply focused on training hard, gaining muscle, and adding size. Pereira explains that he listens to his body and plans to move up to heavyweight naturally if it becomes difficult to stay at a lower weight.
You were on a scale, and I think it said something like 240. You obviously fight in the light heavyweight division. How much do you weigh now?
Around 230 to 35. That's the what he usually do. Even for middleweight, he got to weigh 230 at one point.
Wow. Was there any consideration before you took this fight about fighting at heavyweight?
No, absolutely none. Just took some break, training hard, training heavy, gain some muscle, gain some size, but all folks for this. For middleweight, people ask like going light heavyweight. He used to say like, I'm gonna listen to my body when it's becoming harder. So the same way goes here. Eventually, if it gets harder for me to go light heavyweight, I'm gonna go heavyweight.
Alex Pereira also admits he lied about being hacked after a controversial tweet, which was fueled by frustration at the UFC. His coach explains it was a miscommunication. Pereira learned about a fight offer for Jiri against Ankalaev via social media and thought he was promised a title shot. He later realized he overreacted and the UFC wasn't at fault. After clearing things up with Hunter Hunt, everything was resolved and Pereira maintains a strong relationship with the UFC.
Was it true from your perspective that they tried to offer Jiri a fight against Ankalaev? Is that accurate?
Pouco de falta de comunicação.
So a little bit was miscommunication because Alex kind of found out through social media, stuff like that, and he was upset back then. That's why he sent a Twitter. But he regretted he was wrong because he didn't know talks that was going on, anything that was going on. So it was kind of miscommunication between camp manager and the UFC. It's not UFC's fault.
So can we clear that up? Because you did send a tweet from your account and it seemed like you were upset and then you took the tweet down. Can we clear up that was him actually in the moment upset?
Yeah, he just said that actually.
Sem nenhuma exposição.
100% was lack of communication, was a little bit impulsive from him. He acted a little early because he didn't talk to our manager, like, you know what I mean, found out from Hunter, he saw the internet stuff and he felt a little bit hurt because he was promised a neck title shot and then he sees that. Instead to just have a more mutual communication between camp, Hunter, and everything. So yes, 100%, it's all straight up now.
Magomed Ankalaev responded sarcastically to Alex Pereira's calm, mocking him by suggesting he was lucky his coach could make him sound credible. Ankalaev's tone clearly aimed to troll Pereira and dismiss his statement. Guys, don't believe this guy, he's a liar. I hacked his account and he knows it. He's lucky his coach speaks very good to make him look good. Meanwhile, the pros are hyped for the rematch. Shieldsson believes Alex Pereira isn't fully invested in a rematch with Magomed Ankalaev. He notes that fights rarely happen when a challenger isn't completely committed and can't recall a time a fighter agreed to a bout without showing total dedication or publicly expressing the desire to win. Son emphasizes that a true contender sacrifices everything for a fight, suggesting Pereira's lack of visible urgency is unusual for his position.
Big Unk has been calling out Pierre, which it just doesn't usually work that way. And there was so little interest from Pereira's side, at least publicly, that I wasn't sure they were gonna do that. I can't remember a time in history. I mean, I'll go as far as that. I don't know a time in history when a fight got made and the challenger didn't ask for it. When the challenger wasn't into it, where the challenger wasn't letting it be known that I'm putting my entire life on hold, nothing matters, complete sacrifice so I can beat this man. I don't remember that, ever.
Chael Sonnen highlights the stakes if Alex Pereira wins the rematch, stressing the need to settle the score. He questions whether fans would return for multiple fights, noting that respecting the outcome is crucial. Sonnen adds that a victory would show Pereira has beaten the top competition, while a loss would clarify his path. Either way, Pereira could then move into the heavyweight division, pursuing his long-term goal.
Will you come out and support and watch and be into the fight 2 more times? Because if Pereira wins, that's the only honorable thing to do, right? You gotta settle the score. Pereira knows this better than anybody. So, what do you do in that case? I mean, if Pereira wins, and we gotta go back to Unk. If Pereira wins and we're not going to go with Unk, anybody in that top stratosphere, Pereira's already beat. And with a loss, the answer for Pereira will be very clear. And it will be what he's wanted all along. He now joins the heavyweight division.
However, heavyweight fighter Curtis Blades backs Alex Pereira, highlighting his ability to recover from injury and overcome an illness similar to one Blades faced. He stressed that as long as Pereira is healthy, he expects him to win.
I'm gonna go with Pereira because of the injury, and also I heard he had this same illness that I had, and I know how that feels. So yeah, as long as he's healthy, yeah, I go with Pereira.
Andrew Tate believes Alex Pereira will come back stronger, recalling that they were once scheduled to fight during the Showtime days before Pereira faced a different opponent. Tate praises Pereira's experience and mental toughness, highlighting how he learns from both wins and losses. He adds that Pereira is widely admired by fans and expresses confidence that he will return even better.
Last thing, I saw you and your brother in Vegas over the weekend. Do you have any words for Pereira? He took a loss, like any maybe words of encouragement?
Pereira's an OG. Pereira fought Sahak Papayan, and I was supposed to fight Pereira a long time ago, but he ended up fighting Sahak instead back in the It's Showtime days. So him and I have been fighting way back when. So he's been around. He knows the game. Yeah. He understands you win some, you lose some. You either use it to come back stronger and better and learn something, or you use it to destroy you. It's like everything in life, right? So I think he already knows exactly what to do. The world loves him. He knows that.
You think he'll win the rematch?
I think he'll be back. Yeah, the world loves him. He's a loved guy. He'll be back.
Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan wasn't surprised by Alex Pereira's loss to Magomed Ankalaev and expects a similar result if they meet again. He highlights Ankalaev's striking, particularly his left hooks and kicks, as highly dangerous. Arman points out that Pereira struggled early with leg kicks, forcing adjustments in stance and strategy. While the fight could go several rounds, he believes Ankalaev would generally hold the advantage, though some rounds were too close to call.
What do you think of the main event, Magomed Ankalaev beating Alex Pereira?
I know that Ankalaev gonna beat him if it's not lucky punch. We know like Pereira, he's so dangerous. He has a good left hook and kicks, leg kicks. But first round he started with leg kicks, and I was scared like again they're gonna like kill his legs, and then he gotta change his stand. But then he could change his game. He started to go forward and he won last, I think, 4 rounds.
So you scored it for Magomed?
3-2. 5 was like even 50-50, you know, you never know.
Moreover, Zhang Mingyang expects Magomed Ankalaev to keep his title in the rematch against Alex Pereira at UFC 320. He notes that Pereira doesn't appear as motivated as before, which could hurt his chances. While he acknowledges that the old Pereira is a superior striker, Zhang favors Ankalaev based on Pereira's most recent performance.
We mentioned the title fight. Magomed Ankalaev is the champion. He's running it back with Alex Pereira at UFC 320 on October 4th. I'm curious, who do you think wins that fight? What's your prediction for the title fight?
Yeah, I think still Ankalaev can defend his title, because I think Pereira is not as motivated as before. So, I mean, if we can get the old Pereira back, he is still the better striker than Ankalaev. But for now, if he still fought like the way like he fought last fight, I think Ankalaev can still win this fight.
Zhang Mingyang thinks Alex Pereira lacks motivation heading into his UFC 320 rematch with Magomed Ankalaev. He explains that Pereira's wealth has lessened the hunger he once had as a young fighter chasing success. Zhang feels this reduced drive gives Ankalaev an advantage in the fight.
Why do you think there's a lack of motivation there, in your opinion?
Because he has earned too much money. He's too rich. I think it's no matter who you are, as a fighter or as a human being, if you are too rich, you are just like a kind of lack of motivation, as when you are young, when you are poor, when you are hungry. I think that's normal. It's not uncommon.
On the other hand, Din Thomas shares his view on Alex Pereira's chances of winning another UFC title despite his age. Typically critical of older fighters, Thomas makes an exception for Pereira, noting that his style works in his favor. Pereira relies on power rather than constant footwork or wrestling, allowing opponents to come into his strikes. Thomas adds that this approach reduces wear and tear in training and fights, helping Pereira maintain a high level of performance longer. Din Thomas said, "There is no one in MMA harder on older fighters than I am. I've said it about Kamaru Usman and all these other guys as they get older. I've said it's too late for them, but I think Alex Pereira is the exception in this case. He's got a style that actually helps him in terms of his age. He doesn't move his feet a lot, he doesn't wrestle a lot, and he's just got power that guys run into. So, he's not putting a lot of wear and tear on his body in training, and he definitely doesn't put a lot of wear and tear on his body during fights." Din Thomas further adds that while Alex Pereira may not change much in the rematch, he's always one punch away from turning a fight around. He notes that in a full 25-minute bout with Magomed Ankalaev, Pereira could land that decisive strike, making an immediate rematch his best opportunity to secure a win. Din Thomas stated, "I know that the biggest question right now is whether Alex can do something different. I'm not sure he can do something different, but I do think that maybe he's always one punch away from changing the course of a fight. That's why I think that if you give him another 25 minutes against Ankle, he might find that punch. I think his best chances of winning that fight is to be able to find that punch. I think he should get an immediate rematch." Welterweight Carlos Prates predicts a win for Alex Pereira in a potential rematch. He notes that Pereira has had time to study and correct his mistakes and expects him to enter the cage fully prepared to secure a knockout.
I think Pereira gonna win. You know, he got a break on his career. You know, he saw all his mistakes, you know, and fix everything. And now I think he's gonna step on the cage and gonna knock Ankalaev out.
That wraps up today's video, and we hope you've enjoyed it. Share your thoughts about this matchup in the comments section and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about upcoming UFC encounters.